Okay, so your next exercise in Excel is one that's going to hit close to home. I want you to sit down and figure out a day in your life. I don't want it to be a weekend. I want it to be a normal work day or a normal day during the week. Don't pick the day that you do nothing. Pick the day that you have activities in it. And what I want you to do is I want you to lay it out, because this exercise is going to be three-pronged. You're going to lay out a day, a typical work day in time over here. So you're going to count for 24 hours, and you'll notice right here off to the left-hand side of the screen, what you're going to do is account for 24 hours. You're going to lay it out. I want you to lay it out on paper. Remember, every good Excel exercise or table or anytime we're going to put together information, we want to lay it out in a way that makes sense. So I want you to sit down, and the easiest way I think to do this exercise is to block out the big pieces of your time. Block out when you sleep, block out when you work, block out if you spend 2 hours a day exercising, or you spend 2 hours a day studying or going to school. Block the major pieces of your day out, and then go back and fill in the rest of the day. You'll notice this used to be a normal work day for me about 2 years ago. And what I did was I said, okay, I get up, and at 6:30 I get up, get my kids up, get them dressed, and at 7:30 I take them to school. By 8 o'clock I'm home, and by 8 o'clock I'm in bed sleeping until 12:45. That's what this means. This pink area means from 8 o'clock in the morning till 12:45 I get up and I go to sleep. I don't get up, I go to sleep. At 12:45 to 1 I get ready, or 1:30, 12:45 to 1:30 I get ready, and at 1:30 I drive. I get to class at 2, start work at 2, and then I work until 5 o'clock. Or 4:30. At 4:30, between 4 and 5, I'm driving. Between 5 and 6, I have office hours and more class. I have dinner at 8 o'clock, and so between 8 and 9, I'm having dinner. At 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock, I'm at work again. I'm doing some work, probably working from home or doing some grading or something like that. And then I work out from 11 to 1, and then from 1 to 2, I do homework, and then from 2 until 6 I sleep. Okay. That's how I laid this out. So let's talk about how we lay out this time. We'll address how to get the percentages and the chart in a minute. But let's talk about how I get time. When we go to lay out time, figure out time, if I come over here and I say, okay, at 6 o'clock, there's 6 o'clock. It's a number. Excel treats it like a number, and notice it says 6 a.m. right here. If I copy and drag this down, it's going to do it in a 24-hour clock or military time. I don't want that, so I need to go back and format that number so that it won't do that, because this is kind of the default. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come back here. I'm going to hit delete. I'm going to go back and say, okay, this is 6 a.m. Click out, click back in so I can format that cell. Right mouse click, go to format cell. I'm going to change the number, and it says custom here. That's probably how it's going to come up for you. I'm going to turn this to hours and minutes, AM, PM. That's going to turn it into time that we're used to working with. I also suggest that you start either at 6 o'clock or 6:30 or 7 o'clock or 7:30, because you'll notice that as I click these hours down, because I want to fill my day, so I'm going to go all the way down here back to 6 a.m. Okay, so I've got a 24-hour day set up, 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. Well, this would actually be 5, but anyway, it's close enough. If I get up, let's say at 6:30, I need to put in 6:30 here. Click on the row below. Remember that anytime we insert a row, it always inserts it above. I'm going to right mouse click, go insert, and it's going to insert a row here. Type in 6:30. Otherwise, if you try to type in whoops, if you go and try to type in all these minutes all by yourself, you're going to get frustrated. If I say at 6:45 I do something, so I'm going to insert here and I'm going to put in 6:45. Notice that this allows me to account. It's already set up my day, and all I have to do is go in and modify my clock now, or my day. So if I need to go in and, let's say I take lunch at 12:30, not 12 o'clock. I can go in and say 12, I can put in 12:30 to 1:30. Just remember that you're accounting for that time. Now, it's a little confusing because when we look at our clock, when we look at our day, one of the things we have to realize is if we have these little breaks in here, these 15 minutes, we have to account for them. Remember what I said here, from 8 to 12:45 I sleep. And that's what that means. From 8 o'clock here to 12:45 I'm sleeping. Okay? At 12:45 to 1:30 I get ready for school, and at 1:30 I'm in the car driving until 2. Okay? That's what that means. That little block of time right there means from 1:30 to 2 I'm driving. So I don't want you to get confused in how to lay out the day. Okay, we're talking about this. You'll notice because I've broke these up into, I don't have just hours blocked now. I actually have minutes that I have to account for. I have 45 minutes here I have to account for. Once I do that, and I don't want you to lay your clock out in blocks of hours, because that's just really not going to work unless that's exactly how you work. Unless you're very regimented and you work hour to hour to hour, then you're okay. But when we start to talk about half hours, now we're talking minutes, not hours. So we have to do some conversion, and we need to talk apples and oranges. So let's think of our hours as apples and our minutes as oranges. We can't go in and put 6.5 for 6.5 hours, because that's just not going to work for us when we go to total out 100%. So we need to convert 24 hours into minutes, because anytime we break that block up, we need to account for those minutes. And it's easier for us to look at our day now instead of hours. We look at our day as in minutes. So 24 hours are in a day, but we have 60 minutes in an hour, so we take 60 times 24 and we end up with 1,440 minutes will equal 24 hours. Well, remember that 24 hours also equals, we need to think about this, equals 100%. Why do I want to know what 100% of my time is? Well, when I come over here, what I'm doing is I'm saying 24 hours equals 100%. I know this says 101, but that's because I've made a mistake here. I've screwed up my time. We need to say what percentage of our day do we spend sleeping? What percentage of our day do we spend working? What percentage of our day do we spend doing miscellaneous time? That's why I wanted you to work with the big blocks first, because it'll be easier for you. I want you to work with the big blocks, because when we go to convert the time, instead of saying I sleep 6.5 hours, I can say I sleep X amount of minutes, whatever 6.5, whatever, that would be 120 minutes, or yeah, so 6, think of it, 6 times 60, or 360 minutes plus another 30 minutes means we're sleeping 390 minutes. So think of, those are the kinds of things I want you to think about, because when we do our percentages, what we have to figure out is what percentage of my time do I sleep. Well, to do that, I'm going to take the amount of time I sleep, 510 minutes, and divide it by 144. What is 140? I'm sorry, 1,440. What does 1,440 equal? It equals 24 hours. Okay? So what I'm doing is I'm taking 100% of my day and I'm dividing it into how much time I sleep to get that percentage of 100%. Gosh, I hope that makes sense to you. So you'll notice that if I come down here to driving time, I spend 110 minutes driving. Well, what percentage of my day is that? Well, it's 8%. When you get the percentage here, if it's a number, hit the percent symbol and it'll give it to you in a percentage. Remember that this is all of this added together. So this needs to be 100. So somewhere I've made a mistake. I need to go in and look at my time, but you can see what I'm saying. So what I'm doing is I'm figuring out 100% of my day. 24 hours equals 100%. If I take 24, remember I'm talking about this in minutes. That's why we get these percentages right here. That's how we get them. To make this chart, what I did was I took sleeping, and please don't put any spaces in between your columns here. Don't put any spaces in between your rows, because remember what we talked when we talked before. I need to select all of this to get this chart, because remember a pie chart equals the whole pie is 100%, and that's how we get this. So let me get rid of this and I'll show you. So I select all this. I figured out this is 100% of my day. I need to go in now and make a chart. So I'm going to go to Insert, Chart. And since a pie easily represents 100%, we're used to seeing that as kids. If we put a chart into 4 quarters, we know that's 20. Each quarter represents 25%. So it's easier for us to visualize this. So when you do that, select that, go to Next, and as you start to go through, you'll start to see how it's being laid out. You'll see that you've got sleep time, driving time, and this gives us a better visual when we look at how much time we spend. This doesn't give us a good visual. This just shows us when we do those activities. Right here on the left-hand side, this shows us when we do those activities, which is fine. This shows us what percentage of time we spend doing those activities. And then the pie chart gives us a good visual as to what it looks like. What part of our day. If this pie chart represents one day in our life, here's how much time I spend sleeping, here's how much time I spend studying, here's how much miscellaneous time I have, here's how much time I spend working, and then of course here's how much time I spend driving. These all correlate to this legend over here, and that's what we're looking for. What I want you to do is to look at laying your day out, accounting for your time here, do the calculation on how to set up the percentages of 100% of your day, and then remember to select, do not select the 24 hours equals 100% to be part of your chart. Only select the activity and the percentages associated with that activity, okay, to make the chart. And this, title the chart, 24 hours in the life of you, save it as your last name _ 24 hours, and submit it to me. This exercise can be a little confusing, so watch the video again. Notice how I did my calculations here. Okay, it's very important. And then remember, when we go to chart our day, only select the activity and the percentages to set up the chart. If I try to set this up, and let me show you what's going to happen. If I try to set this up, well, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to end up with a pie chart that looks like this. This equals 24. Well, we're talking about 100% here and 100% here. That's why it doesn't work. We cannot select the 24-hour 100% side, because that represents 50%, this represents 50%, or 100% and 100%, and that just won't work. That's why we have to select, when we do this chart, we have to select this, the activity and the percentage of time. When you're done, put this in your folder for the week and submit it to me. If you have any questions, email me or call me or come by and see me.